Ella and James were two souls intertwined by love, youthful dreams, and a shared hope for a better future. They had met during a time of struggle and uncertainty, when both were still trying to find their footing in life. Ella was unemployed and had always dreamed of pursuing higher education, while James, an errand boy with big ambitions, was saving every penny he could to support her dreams. With each passing day, their love grew stronger. James, though still struggling, was tireless and optimistic. He knew that Ella's future could be brighter if she could earn a degree, so he decided to dedicate his savings toward Ella's education. Every evening, he would pass by her place, offering her snacks and encouragement, reminding her that she was studying not just for herself, but for both of them. On many moonlit nights, they would sit under the stars as she worked through assignments, and he would fall asleep by her side. His presence became a pillar of support, his encouragement a lifeline through every late night and every difficult test. 4 years passed, and Ella's graduation day finally arrived, a momentous occasion for both. She was among the top of her class, and James couldn't have been prouder. The years of sacrifice had borne fruit, and Ella quickly landed a promising job with a reputable company. James continued to be there for her, dropping her off at work on his old, noisy motorbike, which had grown rustier with time. But to James, it was a symbol of his journey, a reminder of how far he had come and how much further he wanted to go. Then came the day Ella met Quasi, a wealthy client at her office. Charismatic and dressed in sharp suits, Quasi knew just what to say to make Ella feel special. He took her out for an extravagant lunch, complimenting her in ways that stirred something new within her. What started as a harmless lunch date became a regular affair. Every day, Quasi would arrive in his luxurious car, and Ella would eagerly join him, soaking in the luxury and attention. James soon began noticing subtle shifts. Ella stopped responding to his messages with the same warmth, dodged their usual dates, and eventually asked him to stop dropping her off at work. "I can handle it myself, James," she'd say, her tone curt. His heart grew heavy, sensing the distance creeping in, but he still held on, hoping it was a phase. One day, James decided to surprise Ella at work with a box of pizza for lunch, hoping a romantic gesture might rekindle their bond. But as he approached, he saw her laughing as she stepped into Quasi's car. Frozen in disbelief, he called her name. Ella turned, her face clouded with irritation. "What are you doing here, James? Go back home," she snapped. He stammered, I brought you lunch." He held up the box of pizza, his hand trembling. She rolled her eyes, glancing at the pizza on the ground. "I don't need that, James. Quasi and I are going to a restaurant. When are you going to realize that I need more in life than your scraps?" With that, she turned away, leaving James standing on the sidewalk with shattered pride and a broken heart. He picked up the pizza box and went home, heartbroken. Yet, instead of wallowing, he turned to his faith, drawing strength to keep moving forward. Meanwhile, Ella's behavior in the office began to change. The lavish lifestyle Quasi introduced her to pulled her away from her responsibilities. She'd sneak out early, come back late, and disregard feedback from her superiors. Her once promising career began to spiral, and eventually the company had no choice but to let her go. Once she was jobless, Quasi's interest waned. What started with delayed responses soon turned into complete silence. The illusion of security shattered, and Ella found herself back where she had started, alone and struggling. Meanwhile, James threw himself into his work, pouring his pain and determination into building a business of his own. Through perseverance and hard work, he became a successful entrepreneur, his efforts finally paying off. He managed to buy a small car and a modest house. He wasn't wealthy, but he was on the path to achieving the dreams he had once shared with Ella. One day, as he worked in his office, he heard a hesitant knock at the door. Looking up, he saw Ella standing there. tears streaming down her face. She approached him with trembling hands. "James, I'm so sorry. I made a terrible mistake," she choked, her voice barely a whisper. James looked at her, the memories flooding back, the nights under the stars, the laughter they'd shared, the sacrifices he had made. Part of him wanted to embrace her, to ease her pain as he once had, but he also knew that the wound she had left on his heart had changed him. James took a deep breath and spoke, his voice steady. "Ella, I wish you well. I loved you deeply and gave everything I had. But life has taught me that real love values sacrifice, loyalty, and respect. I hope you find peace, but I have moved on." He watched her leave, feeling a bittersweet sense of closure. That day, James realized that he didn't need validation or closure from anyone but himself. In the end, true success isn't measured by wealth or status, but by the strength to hold on to integrity, loyalty, and resilience. We must be mindful of those who stand by us when we have nothing to give, for it's in life's hardest moments that we find out who truly values us and who was only along for the ride. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more interesting and insightful video. Like and share as well.